Good morning. Is it from Zetster's lab? It's a new day. This is the only day, so let's get up. Let's get dressed. It doesn't matter how we feel. Today is the only day that we have. I mean, let's put on the lipstick. Let's comb the hair. Let's put the hair up. Put on the lipstick. My earrings. I'm not dressed without my earrings. And when I feel a little off, I need my red heart because I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve. And then I drink my hormone pills because that's what I need to do. Do what you need to do today to find heaven now, peace and joy in the midst of what's going on in your life now. I mean, this virus, pandemic, is now getting very close. We in Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape, South Africa, we are now in the hot spot in South Africa. And 2 days ago, a friend of ours, a neighbor, just 100 meters to that side, passed on, and his wife is desperately sick all alone in her home. And all around us, we are just in the midst of this pandemic, and it's getting closer and closer to home. And when I heard about our friend passing on, all of a sudden, I started thinking, what's going to happen when my hubby passes on, or my kids, and all of a sudden this whole setup became very, very personal and crazy, and my mind was just all over the place. Fear started to creep in. I started to become emotionally involved and started to think, but how is my friend all alone in her home, my neighbor, how is she coping? And emotionally I became her. And emotionally I became the husband dying all alone in hospital, and it really, really took away all my peace and joy, all my power. Because you see, the thing is, the only power that we have is walking in the abundant life that is in us here and now, and experiencing the peace, joy, and power in the midst of anything that's going on in this world. That is our power. So the moment I became involved emotionally, spiritually call it, with what is going on in this world, I fell out of heaven. And then I'm no use to anybody, not even to myself, because the life in me, the abundant life in me, is able, and in her, and in him, and in all the people around us, the life in us is our power, is what we need to cope and get through this day. And the minute I cut myself off, call it that, from the life in me, when I start to worry, fear, fret, allow my emotions to run rampant all over the place, my mind, then I lost my power. I block the flow of the abundant life in me that is able and willing and wants to and continuously flow out of me. But I block it when I became involved emotionally, when my ego becomes involved with the things happening in this realm. And I'm not talking about don't have compassion. I'm talking about having compassion, but that means stay in the life in you. Because the life in you, in me, is the same as the life in everybody else. So if my life, if I allow the life, peace and joy and power and wisdom, provision, whatever I may need, freedom to work through me, then that life is linked to all other life, to all other people, to my loved ones, to my friends, all alone in the house, whatever. And if I flow in the abundance in me can touch the abundance in them. I hope you can understand this. This is so deep, this is so crazy, but it's the only way to live and to be of help to anybody else. You cannot pull somebody out of the pit of despair and fear and anguish and sickness and whatever if you're still in the pit. But if you're out of the pit, and that is what I mean, you're out of the things of this world, you're in heaven, in the flowing in the abundant life that is in you, then the life in you can touch us, the life in that other person, because we've got the same life. So that's what I am saying, this message this morning. Get up, get dressed, put on your lipstick, put on the life that is in you. Put it on. Be clothed with the life that is in you. Do not be consumed, become consumed with the things of this world, with the emotions of what's happening in this realm. Because we are not from this world, we are spiritual beings. Yes, we are manifesting in these bodies and whatever, but our friend that passed on, he's not dead. The only thing that's no longer his is his body. But the same life in me is still in him, and that life is still alive and part of us. I know the mind doesn't understand this. And yes, I understand we will be heartbroken when we have to say goodbye to our loved ones in this realm. But if we know down here that there's no thing like death, it's only a leaving the body. Because underneath this, we are all part of the same abundant, everlasting life. That life that just manifests differently through all of us, through the dog, through the trees, through each one of us. But together we are all part of the one spirit of abundant life and love, unconditional love. And today's message is to me as well. Rise up, get up out of the ashes of this world and what's happening around us. Get out of the ashes, rise up into the abundant life that we all are. And in that peace and joy and power, we can help all those others that's still bound in this fear and of the things of this world. No one is better than anybody else. It's not about that. The egos are just the egos. But we are all in spirit one. And the only thing that I and you can help anybody else is if we allow the fullness that is in us, the abundant life that is in us, freedom to flow through us, out of us, into our world, and touch and heal and deliver and set free those that needs deliverance, not and healing and heal broken hearts, whatever. It's a spiritual thing. We're spiritual beings. I hope this touches somebody out there that is really in fear. Just knowing that today, this moment, the life in you is able, and in everybody else, is able to lead you, help you, provide for you whatever you may need in this moment. And the only way that we can allow the fullness of us to just live through us is when we don't judge situations as good or bad. It just is what it is in this realm. But above this realm, in the spiritual realm in us, everything is unfolding perfectly. Everything is perfect. There's a bigger picture that we cannot see. That is what it means to live by faith. You just know that whatever is happening, it's good. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying it's for your good, for my good, for our good, for the whole universal life, spirits, life, good, whatever. And then I come back to this sentence, the same life that was in Jesus and in his spiritual Father, that abundant, everlasting life, that unconditional love that was in him and in them. He said it's in us, me and you and all around us and everything. And I'm talking about that life. It's the only life. The only power. And what's happening in this realm, we don't understand it. The egos will never understand it. But the Spirit knows what's going on. And to be still and know all is well, no matter what's manifesting in this realm. That is heaven on earth. That is experiencing the abundant life now. And the thing is that we need to know, I don't have what I need for tomorrow now. I'm not. But whenever you go through a situation, how many times have you heard something say, when I say to somebody, let's say, how can you cope? How can you get through this? I'll never be able to get through this. How did you get through the cancer, through the death of a loved one, through COVID, through a sickness, through cancer, through a death of a child, through whatever? How did you get through it? You know, in that moment, when they were in that situation, in them, they had the abundant life leading them, providing for them what they need in that moment. I don't have it now because I'm not going through that now, so I will never be able to understand it. And that's the same when I got emotionally involved with my neighbor being all alone in our house, having to cope with losing a husband. I felt totally apart because it's not what's happening to me now. It's what's happening to her. And she had in her what she needed in that moment, the abundant life, to get her through that moment. I've got in me what I need to get through this moment. Not all the scenarios of what may happen and what's happening in other people's life. That's when I allow the enemy, my ego, to steal the life that is in me, my life. When I start to live in the future and in other people's lives. But just know that the same life in me is the same life in you and the same life in everybody else. And that life is all that we need to get through whatever situation we may find ourselves in today in this moment. Because that's who we are. We are this abundant life. We are one with this abundant life. So that's why I say today, I have, you have, everybody else have what we need to live victoriously through any situation. All we have to do is be still and know that all is well. To live in this moment. I was washing the dishes, and it's very funny, but whenever I clean and wash dishes, it brings me into this moment, into the now, and I become still inside. I don't know why. It's a funny thing. It's the same with painting. So we got to do what we got to do to get our minds to become grounded in this moment. Because then we will know and feel and experience the abundant life that is in us now. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. I'm just sharing my life. What I am. I don't know if I've got this thing wrong side around, but I'm talking only to myself. The life in me is the life in you. We're one. We're one life. We've got what it takes to manifest what we need to manifest, even if it's a disease or whatever. Now, but only now, and experience the abundance to get us through whatever we are going through. Love you lots. Have a fantastic day, and just be still and know all is well with everybody else as well. You just focus and live in your life. Allow the life that is in you now to manifest in any which way it chooses. By not blocking it, by allowing fear to enter into our world, my world. Nobody said, not even Jesus or any real spiritual life said it's going to be easy. It said, I will give you, the I am in you, the life in you will give you peace and joy in the midst of any situation. That is the promise. That means if we start to eat of the tree of life, of that life in us, instead of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that tree of judging everything in this realm as either good and bad because we like it or don't like it or dislike it or it hurt us or whatever. So don't eat of that tree, because then you will die. Then you will block the abundant life that is in you, for your use to get you through this moment, this day, abundantly. Don't judge. Don't eat of that tree of judging earthly situations as either good or bad. Don't judge them. Just live in this moment, allowing the life in you, total freedom to live through you, direct your path, this earthly situations, as He's already doing. The life in you, in me, and everybody else is in control. Is the life. Well, let me go and do what I need to do this day. But the Spirit in me, the life in me, is allowing me to do. I'm going. Have a fantastic day. No matter what's going around in this world, know that the life in you is unconditional love. Unconditional love. And is in everybody else. So when you allow that unconditional love to flow freely out of you by not judging, by not being in fear, in anger and resentment, that life can touch the whole world. Have a fantastic day. I love you lots. Is it from Zetster's Lab?